Bighorn country. Rachel Notley said it's like Edmonton having its own Kananaskis country. Is this what you want for the Bighorn? I surely don't. But they are ready to do anything to get it. Even lie.
She swept to power with a decisive victory nearly 4 years ago, and since then has faced growing outrage in the oil sector, delays and hurdles for pipeline projects, and just this week calls to fire the environment minister. I want to ask you about Bighorn country, the proposal to add a number of parks between Banff and Jasper. We have seen calls for the environment minister to be fired. We've seen public in-person consultation cancelled. There has been such anger around this issue. Is it fair to say that it has been somewhat mismanaged, and what might you do differently going forward?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily been mismanaged. I will say that there's a small group of people that are doing a lot to stoke up a lot of concern. There are folks that are definitely opposed to it, a smaller group.
Fact: almost every affected surrounding municipality, county and town is against this proposal, including 2 First Nation communities.
Councillors unanimously agreed to support Brazeau County opposition of the provincial government's quest to implement the Bighorn proposal.
With my power that's invested in me by my people, I will take a stand with you guys.
Most of the affected organizations is opposed to the proposal. Alberta Fish and Game Association, representing over 25,000 members, is one of them.
The Bighorn proposal is being rushed ahead of the regional plan, for which is concerning because the government is showing little to no regard of their own process of land use planning.
The public has also spoken out against it.
Petition against the Bighorn Park.
Today, the petition counts over 37,000 signatures.
But what I'll say is this: we have the North Saskatchewan Regional District planning. That goes from the border, the western border to the eastern border, through across Edmonton, Red Deer, that whole area, huge area. That planning started in something like 2012. Draft reports around that were completed in 2014.
The government has decided to hold off releasing and consulting on the draft NSRP. My department will proceed with engaging on management plans for a proposed Bighorn complex. Until this is announced publicly, please keep this direction internal to government and reinforce within your departments the need to be silent with stakeholders about the NSRP in general, but also Bighorn specifically. Eric Denhoff, Deputy Minister, Environment and Parks.
What the minister released for consultation this fall was almost exactly what was in the previous amount of consultation.
Regional Advisory Council, or RAC, recommendations for the NSRP.
Within the 96 pages of the report, not one reference was made by the RAC to call for the Bighorn to be turned into a park. In fact, what actually is in the report is that the current Bighorn backcountry model was cited as a best practice, and the government should build off of the success of the Bighorn governance. But the government still requested the RAC to consider another approach.
Designating those areas for conservation under a regional plan would formalize the land's protection to help towards achieving international recognition for environmental initiatives.
Does that mean the government values more international recognition than regional reality? RAC still did not support conservation designation for several areas within the park proposal, including Job Klein 2, Blackstone, Wapiabi, and North Ram.
So there's no plans to shut down industry. There's no plans to block people's use. There's none of that stuff.
Our biggest employer in the region is Sundry Forest Products, a division of West Fraser, and as the biggest employer, this government has a reputation for what they did in the castle and the impact that it had to Spray Lake sawmills and the undisclosed settlement that came out of that is provincial taxpayers' dollars. Now, we have the largest employer in the area, in the region, with uncertainty as to what this proposal is going to do.
And what we're talking about now is the boundaries of a certain area within which we will then engage in another 5 years of planning and consultation.
So this is very, very early.
The draft plan right now is a phase out over 5 years. However, a draft is just that. It is a draft. So we will talk to the public about what that means.
We want the process started over. Let's start it over. Start it over. Start it over.
They wanted to get more information. They wanted the plan to be stalled, and that they didn't think that a proper amount of consultation had been done. So the government was wrong to ignore them in the first place.
If you think about it, from the beginning, the entire consultation process over the Bighorn was a sham. Maybe, just maybe, it's because they never had any interest in knowing what Alberta really wanted.